again, hello and welcome to Hatty Waiver Wire Guru. Most of you have probably finished your seasons. Hopefully, we've got some W's out there, some new champions. I'm probably going to go 1-1 as far as my championships go, unless Greg Jennings gets about 2 touchdowns tonight. Then I'll have won both of the championships. But here we go. I know some of you have championships game for week 17, and also for all of you Dynasty League owners, I'm really going to start focusing more on Dynasty and how to build our team off the waiver wire. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 4 pickups, a QB, a wide receiver, running back, and tight end. These are for your championship guys. Okay, the first is a QB pickup, Tavaris Jackson. He's going to be the starter next week. Didn't look too bad against a really strong Atlanta Falcons defense. If you have to start Jackson in your championship, I'm really sorry. Hopefully you have a better QB already on your team. Next is Tashard Choice. He would definitely get to play the entire game next week. Looks very strong. Good pickup. Good start. Feel good about him. Pick him up. Next is Northcutt. Gerard's been looking his way all day long with Matt Jones out. He is probably going to be good for another plus 60 yards and a touchdown next week. Then, of course, my boy Visanthe Shiancoe. Again, Tavaris Jackson loves this guy. Obviously, you saw it last week as I recommended him again last week. I'm going to recommend him again this week because I'm guaranteeing you saw on your waiver wire and you can pick him up and start him in a tight end spot. Okay, now let's start moving in to Dynasty League, guys. These are going to be lower level keepers, but guys that I think you should keep if you have them on your roster. Okay, first is Matt Ryan. Of course, you're going to keep Matt Ryan. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 QBs here. Matt Ryan's going to be great QB for a long time. If you're fortunate enough to get him or trade for him, he's going to be great for you. Next is Brady Quinn. Of course, he got hurt this season. He will bounce back next season. I've seen him on waiver wires. If you already have him on your roster, he's going to be a great backup QB for next year. And then finally, Carson Palmer. Everyone's forgotten about him. He's probably going to have to get Tommy John surgery just like Delhomme, but will be ready for next season, and he is sitting on waiver wires out there as well. Let's move on to running backs. Okay, I've seen this guy on waiver wires, Darren McFadden, and if you already have him on your team, keep him for next year. He's really going to keep developing. I like him for next year. Pierre Thomas, hopefully some of you guys have followed my previous videos, already picked him up. Keep him for next year as well. And here's a name we haven't mentioned in a long time. He's probably sitting on your waiver wire right now. It's Rashard Mendenhall. Great keeper for next year if you're in a Dynasty League. Next, let's move on to wide receivers. Santonio Holmes, I just picked him up off one of my waiver wires. Going to be a great Dynasty League pick. Next is Eddie Royal. Probably won't be on waiver wires, but will be a great keeper in the next year. And then also Antonio Bryant. He was one of our great waiver wire pickups, and you should keep him for next year. Tampa Bay will sign an extended contract with this guy, and he's going to be just sharp. I mean, he's been going 100 yards and a touchdown almost every game. All right, let's move on to super deep sleepers. I would imagine all of these guys are sitting on your waiver wire right now. And let's say you're in a 10-person keeper league or even more. These are guys that you can sit on your waiver wire, and we're going to gamble on them a little bit, and we're going to take them into next year. But this is really for only people with 10 keepers or more. All right, let's start with Matt Leinart. All right, go ahead and pick him up, especially if you're allowed to keep 3 quarterbacks. Leinart would be a great third quarterback, especially if you have Warner like myself. Be a great person to pick up if you're in a 10-person keeper league or higher. Next, this guy's been injured all season. He's very soft, but I'm hoping he bounces back next year. I'm going to take him into my next year on a large keeper league, which is Laurence Maroney. And then next will be Chris Henry. Again, I'm hoping Carson Palmer bounces back. Who knows what's going to happen to Ocho Cinco? I think it's going to be, or TJ. Any of those guys can move out, and Chris Henry is there to stay. He's a good athlete, and I would go ahead and pick up keep Chris Henry in a 10-person keeper league or higher. That being said, if you need to, you can email me your roster if you're in a Dynasty League and say, hey, Hatty, here are my guys. I can only keep 4. I can keep 10. I can keep 20. Who should I keep out of this list for next year? And that's Hatty Waiver Wire Guru at hattywaiverwireguru.com. Of course, the website is hattywaiverwireguru.com. Hope everyone had a great season. Hope we got some championships. Obviously, this has been a great season for Hatty Waiver Wire Guru, and we're going to keep it up through the offseason as well, especially watching playoffs for maybe a season-ending injury. Hope not, but you got to keep your eye in tune. All right.